I want to show you 3 separate ways to load an embroidery design on the Husqvarna Viking Designer Brilliance 80. If you have your embroidery unit on and you turn on your machine, it will come up to this particular kind of welcome screen. You are in the Joy OS Advisor, but in the embroidery area. So if you had the sewing options on and you came up with more of the orange sewing features here, you will want to, I touched it, you will want to come here, go into the hoop area, and now when you see these colorful little color chips, those are background colors, by the way. You can change what color is behind or looking behind your design, can simulate a fabric choice. That's a really good one. I'm going to leave it on that lighter gray just to start. So 3 different ways to select a design. Number 1, there are tons of embroidery designs built into this machine. And one way to kind of sort through all the different ones is to use the select technique. So one says basic embroidery. So these are standard embroidery designs. What if I wanted to, you know what, today I feel like I want to do an applique embroidery. And so when I select that, I have choices again. Do I want just a standard applique, a raw edge applique, a reverse applique, what? And a reverse applique with a covered edge. So how about if I just pick, you know what, show me all the standard applique designs in this machine. Also, what comes up when you choose this way is the step-by-step instructions, including a possible video as I get closer to the end here, of how this is going to be done. Nope, looks like just step-by-step. To this point, anything? Nope, just easy pictures to follow. But look right here. These are all the built-in applique designs. And I'm going to just go ahead and, oh, by the way, scroll up and you'll see more and more and lots more. Excellent. How about I'm just going to pick this first one, touch and hold. We'll be touching and holding lots of times, and that will bring that in. Now, you do notice now that's taking up kind of half our screen. This little arrow at the top, you'll be using this to kind of minimize that, and also you can bring that back out. So let's say we wanted to get a second design on our screen with our first design. We can come back in and do that. So this isn't a very big design. It does tell me I would need my 120 by 120 hoop. So that's our little 5 by 5 hoop that we would be doing. But let's say, you know what I have fabric hooped up for is our 260 by 200 hoop. So that is actually what I would do. I would need to tell the machine which hoop I plan on using if it's not the one that the machine recommends. So while I'm here, let me just show you just some basic, like, what can you do with this design? So a very common thing is to move it maybe into a different area of the hoop. Maybe you want to stitch out more than one of these. This would be a place where you might put one in one corner, one in another corner. We can also do a little rotation. We can select the rotation option, or this little bubble in the top center is rotate. So if I wanted to rotate left or right, and oh no, that's not really what I want to do, I have an undo button. Your next best friend would take you back or back however many times you did it. So if I touched undo again, it would put it back to the center of that design. Now I'm still in rotation, so if I touch the 90 degrees, I can be spinning that around quickly without trying to like spin it just to 90 degrees, which does show at the top. Do you see that? That is nice. But again, a quick, easy way, let me just put it back, is to touch the center. So if we want to move it, you do need to go back to the little plus, then I can move it where I want. The arrows here will move it very small increments, and the more I hold it, the more it will move. And how about, why don't we just talk about the sizing? That's the third one here. When you touch that, or even if you touch and drag a corner, it will go up 20% and down 20%. But look at the top. It shows you what size it is in metric. And I do recommend that you work with the metric settings, but if it does not go with the way you're thinking, you can go into settings and there is a place for you to adjust the default machine settings. You can change that to, dun, da, da, inches, where is it? Right there, millimeters to inches. The only thing is when you go back to sewing, your stitch length looks really a weird number because it's like 0.0125, don't quote me, stitch length. And you're like, what's that? So just note that you're used to actually millimeters, you just don't know it yet. So, but this can help get you more comfortable. But yes, if you're more familiar with inches, in the embroidery mode, I will say inches is not a bad thing. Okay, so wherever you want this to stitch, you can move it, you can size it, you can rotate it, any of those that you want to do. When you're ready to go ahead and stitch, and I'm going to put this back to the center just for fun, is you're going to touch go. Once you touch go, it will come up with the Welcome to Embroidery Stitch Out screen. And just to review some of the things, like, oh yes, I have my straight stitch throat plate on. Yes, that is the hoop I plan to be using. My sensor Q foot is on. These other ones we are going to get into as we progress through these videos. But most of the time, things usually are as they're supposed to be, and I'll touch continue. Did you hear that embroidery arm move into position? You will find that that is when, the only time when the machine tells you to attach the hoop. And it's telling you which hoop it's expecting you to attach. And should you attach the hoop, a different one than what you have chosen, it will actually catch you. You can't accidentally have the wrong hoop on, which is nice. So when you're ready, attach the hoop and touch OK. Now we'll be working from the embroidery screen. Now this is an applique, so we do have some applique things that we would be following along. So for right now, this is what I wanted to get you to, is how to pick a design, what you can do with that design, just real basic on screen. Let's say we are done embroidering that design and it says your embroidery is finished. This is how you get back to where we were. You will touch this, and when you do, you'll notice that this embroidery arm will return to its home base. So you will have taken off the hoop before you touch it. And if you hadn't, it will tell you please remove hoop, and then it will allow it to come all the way back. So this is the park position. It's where it sits between embroidery designs. As you touch go and go into it, it brings it in and allows you to attach the hoop. When you come back out, you take the hoop off and it moves back here. So as I get ready for my next design, sometimes you'll see me just put my embroidery hoop right here. So when it moves in, I'm ready to attach it at that point.